Okay, we're currently in the gold packet. Mine is white because I didn't have any gold color paper here at home. So this is page 2 of the gold packet, Unit 1B, in Lesson 7, where we're talking about the unit rate as the constant of proportionality. They're the same thing. Example 1, National Forest deer population in danger. Sounds like a headline for like a news event or something. Wildlife conservationists are concerned that the deer population might not be constant across the national forest. The scientists found that there were 144 deer in a 16 square mile area of the forest. In another part of the forest, conservationists counted 117 deer in a 13 square mile area. A third conservationist counted 216 deer in a 24 square mile plot of the forest. Do conservationists need to be worried? Part A says, why does it matter if the deer population is not constant in a certain area of the forest? And some of the things that were discussed in class were things that kids brought up had to do with like the food supply or the food chain would be thrown off by there being too much or too little in terms of the deer. So too many deer, they're eating up all the food, or maybe not enough, and then things are getting overgrown. Predator-prey issues, but then also mainly like the whole ecosystem, like the balance of the ecosystem would be thrown off. Letter B says, what's the population density of deer per square mile? So when we talked about this in class, many students reported that they've talked about population density in their social studies classes, and what we're really specifically talking about is the number of deer per square mile. So we would know that we would set up anything with the deer on top and the square miles on the bottom. And just to make sure everyone's clear on what a square mile is, just the simplest terms that we can say, it's like a plot of land that's in the shape of a square. It doesn't have to be, but just for the sake of explanation, it would be 1 mile, 1 mile on each side. And then if you take 1 mile times 1 mile, that is an area of 1 square mile, which can also be written 1 square mile. So in the problem, it did tell us that there were 144 deer that were in a 16 square mile area, and then there was another conservationist who counted 117 in a 13 square mile area, and then there was the 216 in the 20, I wrote over the top of it, 24. And if you were to take each of those ratios there and figure out what they equal, oh my goodness, 144 divided by 16 equals, comes out to 9, and what that is deer per square mile. And if you take 117 divided by 13, it also equals 9, and 216 divided by 24 equals 9 as well. So in each of these counts, they did come out to 9 deer per square mile. So the unit rate of deer per 1 square mile is 9. And we learned back in the yellow packet, on a little white piece of paper that we had glued inside there, we had talked about how the common multiplier, the common unit rate, those were the same as the constant of proportionality. And the constant of proportionality, they use a variable k, so we would say the k is equal to 9. And it says to explain the meaning of that constant of proportionality in the problem, and we know that that 9 refers to the fact that there are 9 deer per square mile. So that's the meaning of that constant of proportionality having to do with this problem.